If you're taking photos of your puppies in the snow, we want to enhance our photos to make them pop a little bit more, especially when it comes to snow content. It's very easy to do. So as you're out and about, you are going to be taking your photos lower to the ground. You want to get as much snow in there as possible. And if it's snowing, you may find that your snow photographs more like rain. So we're going to fix this. We're going to enhance this. Some of it is as easy as color adjustments, and some of it requires a little bit more work, but not a ton, that even beginners can do. So with snow photos, the first thing we want to do is enhance the snow a little bit. Snow typically photographs more on the blue side, which means you're going to get blue tinted snow. You're going to need to go into your warmth or your temperature. You can do this directly inside of your phone. You can do this on your camera if you have the right settings. You can do this inside of Photoshop or any photo editing platform. And you're just going to warm up the temperature. You're going to slide it on the scale over to the yellow side. It's going to take away a lot of the blue. Don't take away all of the blue, but take away enough to make it look natural toned. You don't want it that dark, overwhelming, muted, just muddy blue color. Enhance it to the point where it looks more natural. Then you're going to bump up your exposure and your brightness and your contrast. If you're doing this inside of your phone, you also want to use your black point. So you're just going to bump up your exposure. Do not blow out your whites. If you blow out your whites, you're going to have no depth and no visual appeal to your image. It's going to look like a white blur. We don't want to do this. We still want to see the bumps and the lumps of the snow. Just enhance it. Bump up the exposure a little bit, then bump up your brightness. Now, if you're doing things inside of Photoshop, you're going to enhance your whites and you're going to enhance your blacks as well, but you may not have that in some of the lower forms of photo editing apps and things like that. So you're going to bump up the whites, but not so much so that we're blowing it out. We want to make sure that we can still see the detail in it. Then you're going to mess with your contrast. So you want to tamper down those colors so they're a bit more crisp. When you are bumping up your exposure and your brightness, sometimes it can kind of make them more of a matte finish. So we want to bring back the detail in our blacks by adjusting our contrast and adjusting our blacks if you have access to that. And from there, you should have an image that pops a little bit more. Now, if you're doing this inside of Photoshop, you can, of course, lasso your dog's face, your fur, all of those things, and make those pop just a little bit more than you are popping the snow. Because if you're doing this as a whole, you can't blow out the snow, which means your dog might not be as bright as you want. So you can go in and you can just lasso your pup, and you can make them a little bit brighter as you're enhancing this. And then when you're happy with that, then we can talk about the rest of the enhancements. So that is just very easy color adjusting that you can be doing to make your photos and videos pop a little bit more. If, however, you want to add snow, or you need to fix the snow that was falling that looks more like rain, you're now going to add a snow overlay. Snow overlays are fantastic. Now, I am somebody who has created a lot of snow overlays. I do offer these to you guys so you can very easily pop them on. You're just going to drag a snow overlay on top of your image. If it is a black background, you're going to change your blend mode down to screen. And from there, you are then going to be able to add a mask to this if you're in Photoshop, and you are going to want a light, round, soft round brush on a low opacity, paint off anywhere where it's covering an eyeball or a nose or a mouth or something that just looks weird. You can remove some of those snowflakes. And if it is just a transparent overlay, you do not have to worry about changing the screen mode to blend. It's already ready to go. You're just adding the snow in so that it looks like the snow is falling around you, because typically when we're photographing snow, unless you have the correct shutter speed, it is going to look more like moving rain. So even though your video very clearly shows that it's snowing, your photos might not. So adding in a snow overlay is going to make it much, much easier. And with an overlay, the work is already done for you. You don't have to go in and hand paint all of those things in yourself. So you're going to be able to then just brush it off anywhere that's weird. So if it goes over an eye, just remove that. If it goes over like a giant chunk of your chin or your jawline, you can remove that as well. And you're just, again, using that light opacity soft round brush to tap it off slowly until you're happy with it. You don't have to remove all of it. Make sure you're not using a hard round brush, because you will very clearly see the lines on this. And you can, even if it's not enough snow or if it's not in the right orientation, you can rotate these things. You can double it up and then rotate it so you have more snow in different locations. Or of course, you can use a snow brush where you're hand painting it on yourself so that it is exactly where you want it to be, or more or less where you want it to be. And that's going to allow you to enhance the snow so that you can very clearly see that it is snowing out, even though your phone or your camera didn't capture it quite the way that you wanted it. Now, there's lots more that we can do to enhance these photos, to really level them up, to color correct them, to kind of make them really pop on your social media or your Christmas cards or wherever you are using these beautiful, beautiful images you've taken of your pups outside. And we have lots of tutorials on taking your snow photos to make them look better in camera before you're doing your color adjusting and your snow overlays and things like that. So follow along for more. If you've got questions on this, we would love to get those answered for you. I've been a longtime professional of well over a decade and a half, and I want to make sure we are helping you to enhance your dog photos in daily videos as we help you navigate dog parent life, from your photos to traveling with your dog to dog enrichment. We want to make sure that this is the best dog parent life that you can possibly live and the best life that you can give your dogs. So drop your questions down below. We'll see you in the upcoming episodes.